So a basketball Hall of Famer said what about Wembanyama?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey guys, this is Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, and you are listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia. It's morphin' time.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kens 5 San Antonio. I am glad to have you back. Hope everybody's having a great Monday. We'll get you starting your work week right here on Locked On Spurs. Thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes, YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. First-time users get themselves a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code LOCKEDON. That's PrizePicks.com, promo code LOCKEDON. Hey, so what are we talking about today? Well, we got a couple things to discuss. Mainly, just apparently a basketball Hall of Famer. Yeah, a Hall of Famer had some interesting things to say about Victor Wembanyama, your upcoming new star. And in comparison to already an established NBA player, we're going to get into that. And also have some fun to close out the show. There are several former Spurs that are available out on the free agency market. Just have some fun and pick maybe 1, 2, or 3 that we would like to come back and have a reunion in the Alamo City. But before we get into all that, I want to talk to you about Victor Wembanyama. I know, shocker. Are you done yet? Are you feeling like you had enough already of Wemby mania? Well, guess what? It is not going to slow down at all. You're seeing it now, just from the hot dogs that are making in San Antonio named after him, to T-shirts that fans are making, to your Spurs putting out a lot of video content about him. This is Wemby mania, and I'm really starting to see it on some social media platforms that some fans are saying, okay, enough Wemby, enough. Well, guess what? It ain't ever going to stop. That machine is going to keep on going. He is the face of the franchise, and he likely could possibly be the face of the NBA. So, look, I'm not getting tired of talking about Wemby. I think it's exciting. I think it's fun. It's nice to have that franchise marquee player back in San Antonio. But I think there's going to come to a point where it'll be too much Wemby mania, and I think then people will be, okay, we get it. He's a good player. But that time hasn't come yet, obviously. He hasn't even played in the NBA yet. Regular season, that is. So, he's that vibe, that Wemby mania is here to stay. And it's only going to get amplified when the regular season starts. And if he does pan out to be that generational player that many think he can be. And I think he will. I don't think it'll happen immediately, but it will get there. And San Antonio's got to understand that although he's wearing the San Antonio jersey and he's going to reside in San Antonio and his home games are in San Antonio and he's going to be out and about in the community in San Antonio, that he's going to be shared. And the rest of the NBA is going to splatter his face in the Spurs everywhere. France is going to be tuning in and cheering him on. So as much as he's a franchise player in San Antonio, it's close to being he's almost an NBA franchise type player or a global franchise type player where he's going to be everywhere and should make you excited. I know I'm excited to see this again, even though I've seen franchise players come and go from Gervin to Robinson to Timmy. I've never seen it to this level. So as much as this is old hat for me to see a new chapter in the Spurs book with a franchise player. What's new to me and a lot of us old people that remember the Spurs coming in from Dallas to the Spurs from the first one-level Hemisphere arena. Yes, there was never an upper deck for a while, and then transitioning to a two-decker and then to the AT&T. You get it. I've never seen a player in a Spurs uniform on this stage, this magnitude. Not even Timmy. Not even Dave. David was close. I think David was super, super close. I mean, David was in movies. No joke. He was in movies. But I think Wemby's going to take that to a different level. So as much as he's a San Antonio star, reality, he's a global star. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Wemby mania is here to stay. But speaking of Wembanyama, and I don't even know how to begin. I think this is probably going to be one of the shortest segments we're going to have on Locked On Spurs. Let's go and bring in our guest. He is Joe Garcia of Two Shots Podcast. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Two Shots Podcast. Joe, welcome back to Locked On Spurs. Make sure to follow him on Twitter, everybody, at Two Shots Podcast. And Joe, I don't even know how to begin. Do we need to ask Tim Hardaway to maybe rethink what he had to say about Wembanyama and Bol?
I don't know, man. Tim Hardaway's a fool, man. It's just he came out on
Right
that on the Carton show over on Fox Sports.
Yeah, I don't know what is going on. You mentioned right now he was on the Carton show on Fox Sports, and basically they were talking. Basically, what happened with the setup, Joe, is that they were talking about Bol, how he's going to the Suns, and and how he's going to mesh with the team. Then out of nowhere, Hardaway then blasts this. I'm gonna just read it for you right here. I'm gonna pull it up here again, talking about Bol and Victor Wembanyama. And I agree with you, Joe. I think he needs to have a double check. Just rethink what you have to say, Tim Hardaway. Almost got it here. So there it is right there. Bol has better physical talent in the NBA than Victor Wembanyama. There it is, everybody. Tim Hardaway, your basketball Hall of Famer right there. So there it was, Tim Hardaway, your basketball Hall of Famer, talking all that mess. First of all, he's comparing a somewhat established NBA player already, at 23, 24 years old. Bol has that year gap where his body can just physically mature, just even by nature, just natural human progression. You're going to get thicker and stronger. You're comparing that to a teenager who has yet to step in the NBA at a regular season level. And again, 19 years old. And then just the physics. I mean, the physiologic, the thing that the body, different sizes, different frames, different genetics, whatnot. I think Tim Hardaway needs to relax and just realize that you have to give Wemby, if we're going to really compare them, why don't you wait till Wemby's in year 4, the way Bol was in year 4, and then we can talk. Joe, what is wrong with Tim Hardaway?
Yeah, Tim Hardaway is just a fool. He says things because, he wants to go ahead and entertain the masses. But, really, he's irrelevant at this point. He's just coming out saying nonsense, stir the pot, entertain the people on this Carton show on Fox Sports. That's why people listen to this nonsense. It's entertainment. It's not actual facts, So what's going to happen if, Victor Wembanyama actually has a better season than Bol, and you come back with Tim Hardaway and you revisit these comments and be like, he's not going to really care. He's not really going to have anything to say about it. It's it's just really irrelevant nonsense that he's spewing at this point in time. But
look, if Hardaway wanted to get attention to that show, well, he did it. That's for sure.
Of course, that's what it's all about, Jeff. You say outrageous stuff just so you can go ahead and move that needle. And that's what they're doing. Yeah. The other person who's really good at doing that stuff is our boy over here too, Michael Jimenez.
or even like a Skip Bayless, who says things just to say things, just to get a reaction. Yeah. But if you look back at the video, I don't think Tim Hardaway was trying to get a reaction, like to be a little troll. I think he meant it. Yeah. On paper, is Bol physically stronger than Wemby? Of course he is. He's that guy's already matured somewhat. He's still maturing. Victor hasn't even gotten there yet. So, yeah. And then there's this too, just the actual NBA experience, just the experience itself. Bol has 4 years on him. Yeah. So he's going to be, looking like a better talent because he's already adapted to the NBA right now. I don't know about better. I think Bol is one of these guys that you look at and you see that he is very tall. Yeah.
But beyond that, he's lacking some of the other attributes that one Victor Wembanyama has. And
I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, when we get back, we're going to get into why Hardaway is just out of his mind, and then talk about those attributes and skill set that Joe is talking about right here on Locked On Spurs with Joe Garcia of Two Shots Podcast. Hey, I want to talk to you about PrizePicks. So how does it work? Well, it's very simple. You pick 2 to 6 players. If they're going to score more or less than their PrizePick projection, you go up to 25 times your money on any entry. Look, you don't have to worry about playing against somebody is basically you versus the projections available. Very easy to use. They offer protection on any sport you can think of: MLB, NBA, disc golf, Euro sports, MMA. I mean, the list goes on. NASCAR, tennis, pick a sport, esports. They'll have you covered over at PrizePicks. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. Super easy to use, safe and fast withdrawals. Currently operational in over 30 states and in Canada. Here's what I need you to do. Download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com right now to sign up for daily fantasy sports. First time users get themselves a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks gives you $100. You deposit $50, PrizePicks gives you $50. Simple as that. Don't forget to enter promo code LOCKEDON at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Joe Garcia of Two Shots Podcast. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Two Shots Podcast. Ask him where he got that awesome baseball cap there. You got another cap, man. You always bring in the fire cap. What's that one now?
This one's, I think, you can see it.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the
anniversary hat that I found out shopping. You know, I go out with the wife and kids and stuff, and then I don't know where I even got this. I think it might have been Burlington Coat Factory of all places, and I just saw it there. They're fitted hats, so I tried one on, and I was like, "Well, okay, this one fits. I'm taking it."
You have a good hat collection, right? Like you have a really good hat collection.
Yeah,
your Coyote one is the best one, my favorite.
Yeah, the Coyote one's behind me. It's back there. I got to get with the artist again because I'm going to tell him to make another one, man. I need a new Coyote hat. Yeah,
I hear you. All right. Again, he is Joe Garcia of Two Shots Podcast. We're talking about yours, silver, and black, and what is wrong with Tim Hardaway. So you brought up the skill set, and you're right. Just on paper right now, the skill set between the two looks like it's going to be a big gap. We're talking about the age gap, and just age-wise, yes, Bo's physically stronger just by age, but skill set wise, that's a whole other story, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, skill set wise, it's a whole different story beyond just the experience that Bo has. He hasn't really played a whole lot of minutes. He's usually delegated to garbage time minutes, or there's, let's say, a lot of players get in foul trouble, they'll wheel him out, but he's not really a game changer. He's not going to change the complexion of a game. He's not one of those guys that you think about when you think about up and coming superstars in the NBA. He's just one of these enigmas, kind of like Boban. Oh, look at this. It's interesting to see a tall guy out there. What can he do really though? When you look at Victor though, and you saw limited play out of him in the summer league, he was really interesting because you saw some of his skill set, even though it wasn't the full gamut. You saw that he has handles. He can pass the ball. He has great vision. He can pop a shot, stop, pull up, and really at the end of the day, if he decides to go ahead and shoot a fadeaway, who's going to stop him? So he was just showing you a little bit of what he has in his arsenal, and it was impressive. It made a lot of the other analysts that were there at Summer League take notice, So Tim Hardaway, he was there too, I believe, and in Summer League watching the games. So he saw what was going on, So I don't know what the fascination is with Bo and him making these accusations because he knows better.
Yeah, exactly. And you look at Bo, again, 4 years in the NBA. Now, to his credit, he did have one of his better seasons last year with the Magic. He averaged about 9.1 points for the season through 70 games played and 5.8 rebounds and about a block. I promise you, Victor's rookie season is probably going to be a way better than Bo's career season after 4 seasons in the NBA. So, skill set wise, I think, he can handle the rock. Bo, I don't think he can. He can run with the court, and I think Bo can as well. But the wingspan is better than Bo. Just overall, you see just the physical talents, the physical skills. Bo, he's 26% shooting from the 3 line. Now, Victor was not a good 3-point shooter in the French league, but I think he's, revolutionized the sense like he's knocking down a Dirk 1-knee 3-point shot. When he makes them, he attempts them, and he's a little bit of everything. He gives you a lot on defense. I think defensively, he's going to make a bigger impact than Bo probably has so far. And Bo is listed. What is he listed at, Joe? At I think let's see here, 7'2". So Victor in shoes is 7'5". So physically, yeah, they're just different. Skill set wise, they are different in favor of Wemby. But I still think, Joe, if you really want to compare the two, let's wait to see how Victor is after year 4. What do you think?
I think we're going to have a stark comparison after year 1. I'm not waiting to year 4. I think Wembanyama is going to come in and instantly have an impact on the league because of his height and his length. I think it's going to go ahead and really force the opposing team to go ahead and change their shot. He's going to have a presence there in the paint, and I think that is actually going to really solidify him as one of these difference makers in the NBA in his rookie season. So to me, that's the thing that's really excites me. I mean, Bol, has he really been a difference maker, in his 4 years? Yeah, probably not. Yeah. He's more of a piece.
You build around Bol, you build around Wemby. Yeah, and exactly. If you want to talk about differences, there's probably the biggest difference right there. So Tim Hardaway, we'll give you a pass because you've never really been, on the hate Victor train. But you know what got me even more, Joe? It was that during that chat on the Carton Show, he goes, "Oh, Victor, what's his name?" Like you don't know who he is by now. He literally said that. He goes, you like Victor who? Victor, what's his? I don't know, like that.
Yeah, no, that's Tim Hardaway. He's one of the best trash talkers there is, and that's just him stirring the pot, talking nonsense.
Hey, but Joe, he went to UTEP though. Is that okay?
No, man, whatever, dude. No. Hey, he went to UTEP. He's showing that maybe UTEP might disown him, man, because the level of intelligence from that take was pretty low.
It definitely is, yeah. So Hardaway, maybe revisit that statement after Wemby's 4th season in the NBA. Then we'll have a good comparison between Bol and Wembanyama. When we get back, we're going to talk to Joe about we're going to have basically a fun segment. So there are several former Spurs that are free agents. If we had a wish, which one, Joe, you only can get one, would you want to have come back in a Spurs uniform and why? Right here on Locked On Spurs with Joe Garcia of Two Shots Podcast. But before we do that, I want to talk about Mudslingers drive-through coffee. Now, these are about the time where I kind of put the guest aside. They can take a break while I do this, but I want to keep Joe on because, Joe, you've been to Mudslingers, haven't you?
I've been to Mudslingers before, man. I've had your OJ.
You loved it, huh? That OG OJ?
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
It tasted like the Orange Julius, right?
Yeah, it sure did, man. From back in the day, over at Ingram Park Mall.
Oh, yes. That's where I would get my cup. And also South Park Mall. I would get one there, too. But
yeah, I try to ask them if they could go ahead and put a little something in my cup, my coffee.
Oh. I don't think they're that kind of drink stop there. Now I'm going to give Joe a break before he gets Mudslingers upset with me. All right. Thank you, Joe, for that testimony there. But yeah, Mudslingers drive-through coffee, proud local sponsor of Locked On Spurs. Did you stay up late last night thinking about Wemby and what he's going to bring next season? Well, think that you got yourselves a way to get that pick-me-up going. If you did stay up late, located in the Stone Oak area, Mudslingers serves delicious pick-me-up drinks for the busy people on the go. So whether you're in the mood for a latte, a cold brew, the Red Bull infused lightning bolt, that'll get you going. Mudslingers has drinks for everybody, every taste out there. Over 300 5-star reviews, cannot be wrong. And they have a wide selection of dairy alternative options, caffeine-free drinks if you just want to take it easy. And if you're new to coffee, they have the signature Mudslinger drink, which is a delicious combination of espresso, steamed milk, dark chocolate, and caramel. That sounds really good. So if you really want to get your heart pumping, though, you got to get yourself the Alien, a Wembanyama-inspired drink, which is a full can of Red Bull, kiwi, red apple. It is very delicious. And, of course, as you heard from Joe right now, the OG OJ. Basically, it's the 70s and 80s babies drink back in the day. It's called Orange Julius. Well, it's back. They recreated it over at Mudslingers. You just heard Joe right now. Love it. So go check it out. And, yeah, located at 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive between 281 and 1604. They're open every day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can find them on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, at Mudslinger, SATX, all one word. Life is too short for a bland coffee. Let's going to bring back Joe Garcia of Two Shots Podcast. Did you get yourself a Mudslingers in the break right now?
I wish I did, man. I mean, you know what? Mudslingers needs to make a new drink, man. And let's call this one the Mudslide. The Mudslide, which is a traditional alcoholic beverage that you can make with some liquor, Kahlua, So
Ah.
that's
So maybe they just set up the base there. Then later on, you can
add your own. I mean, yeah,
add the ingredients.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but one thing
Drive responsibly, San Antonio. If you do that.
The one thing that we really need Mudslingers to go ahead and pull the trigger on here is the money bags drink. I'm gonna talk with them about that.
Oh no, we're gonna move right along now.
No, the green tea, we got to, man.
No, we gotta move along. That's what we got to get off of this before everybody starts wondering why money bags being brought up here on Locked On Spurs. So Joe, let's have some fun. There are several former Spurs that do not have an NBA home right now. They are free agents, and we're gonna play a game right now. So Joe's gonna list you the names of ex-Spurs that are seeking a new NBA home. And the rule is you can only pick one, and we got to know why. Joe, who are the candidates?
Well, full disclosure here, this actual segment was recommended by AI when I was playing around with it. So we're going to roll with it because I thought it would be fun, So six players that are still out there on the open market that are former Spurs players are Gorgie Dang, Boban Marjanovic, Juancho Hernan Gomez, Stanley Johnson, Danny Green, George Hill, and Rudy Gay. But those are the six players that are on the open market right now that are former Spurs players. And like you said, if you could only pick one, Jeff, which one are you going to go with?
All right. Well, Joe, you're the guest, so I'll let you go first. Which one are you going to bring back?
Man, this is a tough one, man. It's like, I mean, if you bring somebody back from this list, you're not looking to bring them back on the team to have a dramatic impact on the team. They're going to kind of been, they're going to be thrown out there in limited minutes just to appease the fan base, that kind of thing. Man, but I don't know, man. My heart always wants to have Boban back in San Antonio for one last ride, man. So I'd go with Boban, dude.
Hey, can you imagine the Twin Towers of Boban and Wemby?
I know. That's the one thing that I was thinking about. Who wouldn't want to see that as a Spurs fan?
I mean, how's anybody going to score? I mean, that's my thing. Imagine if Pop trots that out. Who's going to score on Wemby and a Boban? I think he's a fan favorite, and he still gets love.
He's a movie star.
He's a movie star. He fought against John Wick, right?
He fought against John Wick.
Yeah. So he'll bring the movie star point of it, and he's in commercials. So a Spur would probably be featured in national commercials.
Maybe an HEB commercial.
He did them before, right? Didn't he do? Yeah, I think he did.
I don't know if he did.
He didn't? Okay. I don't remember him doing that. No, he did a car commercial in San Antonio.
Oh, yeah. That was a car commercial.
Car commercial. But yeah, I think for just fan sake, and not to discount his skill set, because as much as he's lovable off the court and on the court, but skill wise, he actually he's not that bad. He can score, he can rebound and dunk, obviously at his height. But I would just love to see that twin tower look of Wemby and Boban on the court together. Ain't nobody scoring on them. I mean, no way. I mean, you're pulling up for mid-range shots if you're opposing teams, or 3 shots on those two. Give me the list one more time. Let me give you my pick.
Okay,
so you took Boban. Okay, you took Boban, so he's off the list.
Gorgie Dang, Boban, Juancho Hernan Gomez, Stanley Johnson, Danny Green, George Hill, and Rudy Gay.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with George Hill.
Georgie.
I'm gonna go with Georgie. One, because he's still all about the San Antonio community, even after he's been traded years ago on draft night. He still lives in the San Antonio area. He still gives back to the community. He was there for San Antonio during the pandemic, and he's still doing his thing for the Spurs. I mean, for the city of San Antonio. Did you see that video? Oh, not video, but a photo that went out where he met up with his dad, who's a city of San Antonio worker in sanitation, and spent the day with him. That kind of family first vibe I like out of George Hill. And skill wise, look, he's a good. If you talk about a mentor for these young Spurs, and even for a guy like Trey Jones and Blake Wesley, your favorite player, Joe. You got George Hill. I mean, that is some leadership right there. I think on the court, with his skill set, he'll make an impact. And off the court, he's still helping out San Antonio. So for me, I would go with George Hill, bring it back. You know who a close second was for me, though? Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay was a close second for me.
Man, dude. I love me some Rudy Gay, man. Like he's a really, really nice person, does a lot for the community, man. But I'm gonna be honest, man. He's ready for the glue factory, man.
Who was your close second?
Oh, my close second on this list. I don't know, man. Maybe Danny Green one last ride, dude. See what he can do.
Yeah. It makes sense. Yeah. I mean, again, another veteran. Knows pop
knows the system. Maybe he can help some of these.
Are the fans still okay with him? Like
they are, dude. He hasn't really done a lot of stuff to badmouth, San Antonio, but I'm thinking he can do a lot as far as helping the team, impart some of the knowledge to the younger players on the team. Maybe help them shoot better from beyond the arc. I mean, I know he's not a sharpshooter anymore. Those days are long past him, but if he gives some tips, maybe make them a little better, that might be something he can help with. But, I don't mind me some Danny Green maybe one more time.
Yeah. It's interesting to see, what the Spurs are going to do with the roster as this is. Well, I mean, we're already there. We're practically there. The dead period of the offseason is here already. So, and speaking of that, before I let Joe go and put a wrap on this episode, I think starting next week, I'm pretty sure starting next week, Locked On Spurs will not be every day. It'll probably be 3 days a week now. So we're going to start cutting back. There's just really nothing to talk about. I mean, unless something big happens.
Jeff needs
it gives us a break. Yeah, it gives us a break. So, but speaking of the roster, I think that's what we're going to talk about in the next episode of Locked On Spurs is just how's the roster looking at right now, who's on the bubble with whoever's going to come on next time. But yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see what the Spurs do with the roster. Do they add more veteran presence? Do they make some more deals? Blake Wesley, what's his deal? I know a lot of fans are kind of iffy on him now. I know, Joe, you're iffy on him too now, right?
Look, man, I love me some Blake Wesley. I like the kid, man. He has a lot of courage, and he's very aggressive going to the rim. The only thing that I have a problem with Blake Wesley is I think he needs to learn how to be a little bit more under control. Like he sees an open lane, and he's just going to take it, dude. He doesn't care if you got somebody open for a wide open right wing three. He's just going to go ahead and put his head down and go straight to that rim. And there's something admirable about that. But at the end of the day, if you're wanting to, get some decent playing time, that's not going to get in the good graces of one Coach Pop or the coaching staff.
Right.
You also got to go ahead and look for the open man. If you have an ability to suck in the opposing team's defense, that means that somebody's open, and if you don't have a really good angle where hey, man, this shot is definitely going to go in, I'm going to get a slam dunk or, there's nobody there, going to be a backdoor cut or something of that nature, easy layup. You got to look to pass the ball, especially if the defense is collapsing on you, and you can't be so aggressive that you're going to be called with a charge. How is that helping your team? Or you're going to go ahead and turn over the ball. That's not helping your team again, so he's a loose cannon, man. I think if the kid can just learn a little bit more about control and how to see the floor a little bit better, he can maybe find him some more playing time here, and hopefully that will happen because he's still young. There's still time for him to grow.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's still young, and you just got to give him that time. But yeah, this was a fun segment. I didn't realize how many free agents that are available that are former Spurs. So
yeah, former Spurs, man. There, there's also some players here that we were going to talk about that were not going to make the cut or could be on that bubble, but
we'll definitely talk about that.
We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah. He is Joe Garcia of Two Shots Podcast. Follow him on Twitter at Two Shots Podcast. He also pitches in at the Acquired Taste Show. Joe, what's going on your end?
No, man, just getting ready to, keep on making the show go for Mike as far as the Acquired Taste, and also taking a break too, much needed break, because I work a lot. I have multiple jobs and I hardly get to get any, downtime. But now that we're coming into the lull of the season, I'm thinking about firing things back up here for Two Shots and find some fun topics that we can talk about. And now that you just said you have a lot of free time, so maybe I might have Jeff Garcia make an appearance or two.
I'm down. You know that I'm always down. Just got to give me a heads up and we can make it happen.
Yeah, I got to get you and RJ. I saw RJ when I was buying my Spurs season tickets. I ran into him, RJ Marquez from KSAT 12. Yeah. He's a friend of the show. So, I told him, hey, man, we got to get you on before the season starts again. So maybe we'll make that happen again. The Jeff and RJ coming in as guests on 2 Shots.
Yeah, those are fun. Yeah, those are fun to do. Yeah. Make sure to follow Joe on Twitter at 2 Shots Podcast. And we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes, the Kens 5 Plus app, and so much more. You guys are the everydayers. So tomorrow's show, you pretty much heard it. We'll probably dive deeper into the roster, likely something Wemby related, going to happen, and much more. And we thank you as always. So for Joe Garcia, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.